Good morning, evening, afternoon. Welcome to another fantastic episode of MasAti on Sunday, where we go into understanding higher intelligence, wisdom, actually turning intelligence into wisdom, whether it's machine intelligence, whether it's human intelligence. Today, this Sunday, right before Valentine's Day, we're going to be talking about, love, lust, loss, liberation, heartache, all that stuff, and understanding why we have so many issues behind, say, deep level relationships, right? Intimate relationships. So, in this show, we've got frequency scans. So we're going to go deep dive into it, and we're going to scan about 13 individuals, and we are going to go into, say, their personal stories, not the specific details, but say the algorithms, the patterns that they run on why things happen the way they do in their relationships. And as you understand that, by the way, it's not just about them, it's about you as well. Because as I scan other individuals, you might get that inkling on, gosh, you know what, that could be me. So this is a great opportunity for you, whether you're listening to it live, recording, whether I'm scanning you or not. The frequencies will envelop you and help you, say, shift, not on a mindset level, not like NLP, mindset training, therapies training, or anything like that. We go, much, much deeper. We go into the cause, not the, say, surface level symptoms. So, and that's the key. Most people think that, the problem is the other person, right? Their timing, their communication, their chemistry, even the way they look. But it's really not. It's not about that. XI goes much, much deeper. I would call it XIP, exponential intelligence programming. This is the signal that you're always broadcasting, that you're always sending out. This is where, you go from one person to another, to another, to another, and that relationship still stays the same. You've just changed, say, players, but you or that actor that, well, stay the same. So you're playing that same role. And you think changing your dialogue, your clothes, your makeup, your attitude and all that, it doesn't work out because, again, you are the underlying person. You are the constant in that relationship. So we go deep. We go into, say, the hidden patterns. The contracts that you might have signed, your family might have gotten into, your generational patterns, and that's what really, say, changes and transforms individuals. So again, I'll be scanning all these individuals. It's 3 minutes each, so we're going to go deep, guys. Right? For those who I'm scanning, we're going to go much, much deeper. um, um, and we're not going to get into your stories, because stories hold on to your programs. It solidifies it. We're just going to go in just like a surgeon and just like cut away all the distorted patterns in your relationships. Sounds good? If Megan, or Alex, the team, cuts me off, guys, while I'm scanning, it's got nothing to do with you. It's just that we want to stay on time. All right. So let's go ahead and get started here. We'll be looking for your comments as well. Look, as a note, guys, if you're listening in, comment in on how fast they can transform and shift. Okay. Just in the 3 minutes, comment in on how you're feeling as well. Again, it's not about therapy. It's about the frequencies that you're resonating, and with XI, we can rapidly change those frequencies. All right, we will start with Mia, and then Mikkel afterwards. Where is Mia? If you can unmute, hon.
Yeah, I have unmute. Yes. You
Hi,
can
Mia.
hear
How are
me?
you doing? I
Hello.
can, anything specific about just about relationships? I mean, we can work on
No,
anything. Um,
no.
okay. Well, you're the type of person, Mia, that is kind of a reflector. So you basically, especially when you're younger, probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're younger, you basically didn't have an identity. You didn't know who you were. So you just went along with anybody that liked you, so to speak, anybody that like collaborated with you. And then you so if they like, say, the color yellow, then you like the color yellow. So you just gravitate. So you reflect off who they are. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, if you're a reflector and you're always changing who you are over time, what happens in deep level relationships, honey, is that you become so much like the other person. This is where that other person starts to blame you for the things that are wrong with them. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, but I didn't get much. Uh, they didn't talk. I mean, they were nice for me like that.
Of course, they were nice for you, but when you start becoming the same person, you lose your identity.
Hmm.
That makes sense
Yeah.
to you? So whether
Yes.
they blame things or whether you blame yourself, because that's a pattern that you have as well. That makes
Yeah.
sense. What you blame things for, the relationship dying down, the relationship getting down, and this is where you're so identical that there is no, say, reference points, and this is where the relationship doesn't get exciting.
Mm.
Life doesn't become exciting. Doesn't become fulfilled because it's all watered down. Because again, life is about understanding who you are, Mia, not pleasing others. Is that clear? Does
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
vibe with you? Okay.
I know
Yeah.
the pattern. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So take a deep breath in. And these aren't psychological patterns. These aren't it's like, well, I'll just change. It's like, no, you need to understand yourself. So what's happened deep inside is you always had to probably like please your parents. And as you pleased your parents, you lost who Mia is. That's the number
Yes,
one
that's
problem.
right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people like that on this call and in the world, right? They're always like pleasing society, pleasing your parents, pleasing the government in this case nowadays, right? Pleasing others and losing yourself. That's the number one, say, disease or pandemic that's happening. Everybody's fighting back, but nobody knows who they are. So take a deep breath in, huh? Notice who's safe. So what I was doing for you, sweetie, is literally just allowing you to disconnect. You'll probably feel really, really lost. Okay. Those of you listening in as well, you'll probably feel really, really lost because you can't reflect back to create who you are. And this is where Mia can actually live and go, well, who is Mia? And that's a really good question to ask. Who is Mia or anybody else? Like, who am I really? Right. And then you'll start to see it's like, I'm not my political party. I'm not this. I'm not that. So we'll move on. But hopefully that made sense for you. But yeah, now
Thank you.
you are of your own person. So, and you got to create that.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll go to Mikkel. Hey, Mikkel. How
Hi,
you doing,
Mas.
bud?
Yes,
Uh,
I'm doing good. Real quick, me and my fiance, we've been together for 4 years. We
mhm,
helped each other to elevate, to grow, to expand to the best versions. We both desires.
yeah.
And we had a conversation about opportunity of having a child.
Mhm,
And even though we have a lot to give and would love to experience that, we have the obstacles, like financial obstacles in place. Then we also over 40, so there is health. And then plus she's highly sensitive, highly intuitive. She's advanced individual.
mhm,
So while she's still learning how to manage her abilities, want to make sure that her body does not react. And I saw a mail from you and was hoping to get some clarity. Maybe you can scan us for a child possibility. We're
sure.
trying to decide either we can use some medical advancement and do whatever it takes to bring a child to this world, or find a peace with the idea that not every single couple is, or and not every single person is meant to give birth to a child.
Sure. Take a breath in. Yeah, so a couple things again have helped a lot of couples get pregnant, even if in vitro fertilization, all those things didn't work out. Again, it's a frequency layer that's misconstrued. So you two run the patterns, and a lot of and there's certain not a lot couples, but quite a few couples run from this pattern. Is you are much deeper individuals, and you basically are worried about the world. So if I bring this child in, um am I gonna destroy the world? Does that make sense to you? Um so in this case, you care for the world so much that you don't want to. It's like, well, there's you come from the concept of, people destroy the earth, and that's true, they do. But the deal is like and then you take the burdens of it, especially your partner. She takes the burdens of the world on herself, and then that's a lot of pain. And this is where a lot of women, by the way, cannot get pregnant because there's so much pain in their womb area. As a note, they carry the pain of the world, their generation, what happened to their family lineage. In your family lineage, there's a lot of on her side there's a lot of, say, loss of loved ones as well. So that's another thing. She's afraid of, like, well, I'll bring this child in and I'll have deep love for them, and then they might die. They might get, whatever, however old during birth, or, maybe through wars, right? You're, oh, 1, 2, 3, like 3, 4 generations back, your families might have gone through war where the women lost the fathers, lost the sons, and so on, like that. That death space is in her womb, and she's always, say, afraid, and that's why she's highly sensitive to the world. So, does that make sense, Mikhail?
Yes, it does. I will have to process because not every same thing that you say makes sense right away. But from
Yeah.
the health point, like, can you scan to see if there is anything that keeps us
Sure.
from that?
Um, Well, from the health point, I see, she's gotten a lot better, through XI. So in this space, what we're doing is literally helping her release that. She doesn't always have to say run from fear. So when women run from fear, the uterus kind of gets hard, and it's hard to, well, have a nurturing environment if the soil, say, is so compact. If that makes sense to you, it doesn't allow. So in that case, I would suggest doing deeper session as a couple, a couple or group session on it. And as we move on to Dolores, by the way. So, if that makes sense for you, Mikhail? Right?
Thank you very much.
You're still welcome, my friend. As we move on, Mikhail did say something really nice, is that some of the things that I say might not like hit you, initially. It's like, well, that doesn't make sense. But then later on, it might make like deeper sense for you. Okay. Because I just see it from an outsider looking into your life. Right. We'll go to Dolores.
Hi,
Dolores.
Moss.
Hi, hon. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Anything special you want to work on, or just whatever I see?
Whatever
Uh,
you see.
sure. Sure. You've had, is it 2 relationships that you've had uh,
Yes.
impacted you? Yeah. So in that case, did they? There's always a pain in you of relationships that, like, might have passed away or they disappeared somehow, and then you hold on to that pain, Dolores. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Take a breath in. So, and then your father comes in as well. I don't think you ever let go or of the pain of his loss. And does that make sense for you as well, sweetie?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense now, but possibly.
So does your father pass away?
Yes.
Okay. So whether it was a good relationship or not, say it wasn't that great of a relationship, the need of you having a solid, say, masculine icon, that pain, that wound is still open for you, although you're a little older. Does that make sense? Especially around
Yes.
13 or 14 years old, it seems like your identity got impacted for you, and from there, it never healed. Right? And then relationships over time, you're a very, very loving person, Sudhi. But then what you do is you absorb other people's burdens and other people's pains, especially when you love them and you make them your own. So love for you, take a deep breath in. Love for you is literally, the more pain I can handle, the more pain I can absorb from that person, the more I show them that I love them. But then you, as you age, sweetie, is like, shit, how much pain can I handle? So when I see your heart space, it's just like, it's like been cut a lot of times, although there's only two relationships, because every situation is like, gosh, I feel more pain. I feel more pain. So at some level, 3, 4, 5 years old, you connected love or connection, communion, to say pain. Um, does that make sense for you?
Yep.
I don't know exactly what happened to you at 3 or 4. I'm not a psychic. I see algorithms. So let's get rid of all that, sweetie, if you don't mind, and for
Yes,
others.
please.
Okay. And this is where you breathe in. And then also, with your relationships, sweetie, if there's nobody around to give you their pain, you basically re-render, or you keep remembering, or you keep alive the people, the two individuals, and including your father. So you just recreate that in your mind. That don't is alive. Um, does that does that feel right for you, hon?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so you're ready to not live from the past, and not to live from other people's past, right? You and
Correct.
everybody else that's on here. So breathe in again, sweetie. Just notice. Plus, you hold on to one last thing. You hold on to. There's so much stuff coming out of you, sweetie. So whatever you've done with XI, which is beautiful, it's like this quick session is like, Moss, just give me the okay to go forward and just be and enjoy life. That's basically what's happening. So it's really beautiful, sweetie. So take a breath in. You're free. You don't have to hold on to the world's pain to be a good person. You can just go enjoy yourself and be that good person, and then your light will shine upon other people. Okay. Uh,
Thank
and
you.
you're so welcome. And I helped your father cross over properly as well, or you holding on to him. Right, Sweetie?
Thank you.
Go to is it Gopi?
Yep. Hi.
Hi, honey. Did I say that right? Your
Yes.
name?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, Anything special that you want to work on other than you, again, you're always kind of wondering who you are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
So,
well, I would like to
hmm,
I would love to so that I can openly receive and resources and just have a beautiful life.
yeah, take a breath in. But if you're always feeling like you're struggling, or always feeling like you're not good enough, Sudi, you're not going to have a wonderful life. Basically, that's the main feature of you. It's like, you're always trying to please other people, if that makes sense to you, especially a masculine frequency. It could be your father, it could be an uncle, grandfather, whatever. I don't see your father around, um, even if he was there. So in this case, maybe when you were younger, it's like, oh, what would I have to do to have father be pleased with me, or father like me, that kind of feel. Does that make sense to you, hon?
Mhm. Okay.
Or what would I have to do to
I haven't felt like I've had to do anything for him,
I'm sorry, say that again.
but
You're breaking up, sorry.
yes, I have a great relationship with my dad growing up and even now. I haven't felt the need to do anything to make him happy. But yeah.
That's beautiful, sweetie. Again, why do you think that relationship is so great? Because you fulfill his needs at a deeper
Um,
level. It's not you at a physical, mental level going, "Hey, I'm pleasing this person," but it's almost like you almost look like him too. There's a masculine frequency around you as well. So again, your identity is not here; it's your father's identity, if that makes sense to you. You would morph into, because you get along so well, you love each other so deeply, because both of you are merged together. Does that make sense for you? Get it? Uh,
mm,
and then the one that
mhm.
might not be, like when you were younger, maybe your mom wasn't, say, present, even if she was around. So you gravitated toward your father. Okay? So your mom actually feels more of a masculine frequency than your father. Your father is the more sensitive one. So again, you gravitated towards her. As people gravitate towards, especially when they're a young kid, they morph into the environment that they are comfortable with. right? And then what happens is you turn your identity, your life, almost think really your father, not yours. Okay. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it is. Okay. And when you do that, then you are never say complete and your identity keeps slipping away. So so take a breath in. Ready? So in this case, what you'll see for yourself after this session is literally is like, oh my God, I'm so much like my father. Right. And again, your father could be great, but that's not the point. It's like, who is you? And that's, who are you, sweetie? So in that case, you'll separate your identity from your father, and then you'll go, oh, that's father way of doing it. This is my way of doing it. You don't have to like replicate and duplicate the same damn thing, sweetie. So that's the key. And by the way, you do that with other masculine frequencies as well. Could be a boss, it could be a whatever. You just like gravitate and mold in. So you make a great employee, for example, because you do things exactly. You do what you're told. All those things. Again, that's not being independent, sweetie. I'm not saying you shouldn't do what you're told. I'm just saying you have to make that decision on your own and not lose yourself as you do things for other people. That makes sense, right?
Mhm.
We'll move on. We'll go to Bhavana. Hey, honey, how are you? I'm doing fantastic. Anything special that you want to work on? Well, I'll just go ahead, just because of
Yeah.
time. So you've been really burdened by your culture, Sudi. Your culture is so deep. And again, I think you're Indian. Is that correct? Okay.
Yep.
From India. Yeah. So from India. So that culture is really, really deep. It's got a lot of standards and so on like that. And gosh, I've got so many individuals from India, and well, anyway, I'll put that aside. Anyway, back to you. Take take a deep breath in. Notice your spine. So in this case, you and in your family specifically. So one, it's the burdens of the culture, and again, all cultures have burdens, especially of women. So in that case, you're carrying on the identity. So there's be in the past there was an identity crisis for you because again, unlike Gopi, she just basically molds into everything that's around her. You're basically going, that's not right. That's not right. So you become a fighter against your culture, against your family, against, anything basically. So against, say, a relationship, so you get married, for example, and then you're always fighting against your relationship. And I've worked with your husband, obviously, and dramatically changed. So in this case, you don't have to say fight anymore to create who you are. So this is a common issue for women, especially successful women. They always have to fight. They always have to push to create their own identity. Does that make sense for you? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point where you don't need to push anymore. And then you kind of go, you lose your purpose. Because if you've been pushing all your life, which you have, which is really beautiful, by the way, because otherwise you would not be here. You would just be a normal, say, woman from India carrying the burdens of, mom, grandmother, and everybody else, and you wouldn't, no offense, you wouldn't be aging as beautifully as you are. All that because you would look like, again, an older type woman that just anyway, we won't go that deep. Take a deep breath in. All right. It's interesting. There's a lot of women, especially in India, from what I'm seeing. I'll just say it. Take a breath in, and we're disconnecting all these patterns from you. They're really, really beautiful, and then they get to a certain age, and then just go. They just like lose their physical features. They lose their beauty and all that. And it's like, what the hell happened? Get it? So that's part of that culture pattern. So you are not running that. And also, you don't have to say prove yourself or push against society, culture, genetics to create yourself. You've done all the work. This is where literally XI kicks in. Okay? Most people use XI. Take a breath in. Huh? Just notice your ribs. Most people use XI to clean up. That's not what XI is about, but it's a great tool. XI really begins when where you are right now. It's like, who is, you know, I've got everything in gear. I'm highly optimized. Now I can go and explore the world and explore what Bhavana is about. So breathe in. Again, you don't have to fight anymore. And it's true for a lot of women. So just take a couple more seconds on for the women and for the men that want really solid women. Breathe in, guys. So you're done fighting. Simply. But if you've been fighting generation, you still need to fight. You don't need to do that. You can go out and explore, go out and nurture, go out, be the women that like create possibilities, right? Not just for you, not just for your kids, but as you expand, as you again raise strong kids, this is what changes societies. So that's the level that you're getting into. So congratulations. They need, obviously, the world needs more like you.
Thank you, Mas.
Imagine being a corporate woman with that kind of say frequency. Right? You don't destroy yourself. You don't become a man. So beautiful job. Really nice. I congratulate you. Nice job.
Thank you, Mas. See you soon.
We'll go to Carmen and then Connie. Hey, Carmen, how are you, sweetie? Good. Again, you've done a great job with XI, hon. You've actually found your own voice, if that makes sense to you. You speak more coherently. No offense, I just so breathe in. Does that make sense to you, sweetie?
Oh, completely.
Yeah. So back in the day, basically is like Carmen didn't know who she was, especially in her teens. From what I'm seeing in her 20s, and she's basically is like, if there's like you'd be okay with one person, conversing with one person. But if there's a group of people, what Carmen does is literally go, oh, this person wants me to be this way. This person wants me to be this way. This person wants me to be this way. And then if you're talking to a group, you're picking up all their frequencies, and then you basically lose your identity and you have no voice because you don't know who to please in that situation. Does that make sense for you?
Oh, yes, it does.
Okay, so that was back in the day. I just want you to reference, spatial referencing is important in XI. So notice, how far back that was. And then what you would do is, you have daughters. So you would just cling on to, your daughters, for safety, but then it messes them up. And then it creates just this tangled mess of feminine frequencies. So over the time, and again, I'm just creating a timeline for you. So just so you can spatial reference and just feel how far back that goes. Okay. For those of you who've done that, by the way, online as you're listening, just think how that role is played out. And now, as of late, especially, you're on that event with us in South Africa. And so that identity gap is like, you're not bouncing out. You're not, again, bouncing to get your identity. And sometimes if you don't have an identity, people like you go, oh, other people are picking on me. It's like, no, they're not. But you're just wanting, a reflection of other people to create yourself. So in this case, in this session, sweetie, let's do it this way. Breathe in. What we're going to do is flip that around. So there is no, this is where being empathic, actually works. Empathy in its truest sense, by the way, you're very empathic. Empathy in its truest sense is that, you pick up, say, the situations, you pick up the vibe of what other people are feeling, and then, which is fantastic, but then you didn't have a filter. That's the problem with people who are empathic like you, right? The main cause of why that identity loss. Breathe in. So what happens is empathy is really good. You're picking up, oh, that person's creating themselves in that. that reality. This person's creating in that reality. And then empathic people basically lose their identity going into their other person's reality. What true empathy is about, and this is what I'm helping you with, sweetie, because it'll um, get your trajectory on really, really fast for you going forward. So again, breathe in, notice your spine, and then your throat. So you can use that ability that, say, destroyed you. Again, it's not the ability, it's just how you used it. So being empathic. So empathy in your sense now will feel like, oh, I can feel that other person, but I don't have to feel them in my body. Because then this is where, your body has issues. Yeah. If they are like having circulation issues, you have circulation issues. So in this case, again, you're referencing where they are and going, that's how they're rendering themselves. I can learn so I don't get stuck. So you start to see their patterns and what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and how you could do it better. That was the only filter that was missing. It's like, how can I do it better versus I'm going to morph into them. So this is where you're going to read a lot of people because you've got nice abilities, sweetie. And then you're going, oh, I see why they are where they are, where they're, where they're doing really good, where they're fucking up, and then I'm going to do it better this way. Okay. And this is where you have your own mind, your own, say, decision-making process, all that. And it'll help your daughters as well, because your daughters are going with you. Did that all make sense, sweetie?
Yes, I
Wonderful.
needed this very much. Thank you.
Go for it, sweetie. Okay. Yeah. We'll go to Connie, and then May. Hi, Connie.
Hi,
There you are. How you doing, hon?
I'm good. Yeah.
Anything specific you want to work on? Not being sure of yourself?
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Again, take a breath in. Oof. So, Connie, think of it this way. You're always second guessing if you did something right or wrong. Is that clear? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
So the bigger key is like, you'll even go do something nice for somebody. Okay. And it's really bad if you did something wrong to somebody, because you just like hate yourself for, I don't know, months on end, probably, if you did something wrong for somebody. So in this case, but if you did something nice for somebody, and they'd appreciate it, but then basically you would go, gosh, I could have done something better for them. Even did I do the right thing for them? Does that make sense for you, sweetie?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So in that situation, again, it's a loss of identity, because it's like, I'm not sure, I don't know if I'm good enough. Because you always think that you're not good enough. And you're a beautiful woman. You're very, very kind, but then you always second guess who you are, how you're rendering yourself in this reality. And this is where sometimes people like you, they excel at amazing things. Like you, seems like you excel at a lot of things, but then you go, well, I could have done better. So there's always this thing, I could have done better. I could have done better. And other people around you, do you have a partner?
No.
Okay. Well, okay, let's get into that piece. Okay. So take a breath in. Okay. So in this case, it's like, gosh, I'm nice, I've got the looks, all this and that. It's like, why don't I have a partner? It's like, well, the pattern that you're running, because if you get into a partner, you've had 3 partners, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just like they're short term though, from what I'm seeing. They're not like long term. I don't know if that makes sense for you. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So think of it this way, Sudi. If you're always second guessing yourself and you're always not good enough, when you get intimate with people, they pick up that vibe, and it's like, I'm not good enough for her. Literally. And then it's like, you're not good enough for them. Although when you pick up, you know, you attract people, you attract people that'll make you diminish your value. Uh, you know, uh, again, so why is that? Again, it's not the other people. It's about you having like your value just depletes. Breathe in. Good. All right. So just one last question where this stems from. Were you an unannounced pregnancy? Did your mom wasn't sure about keeping you or not?
That's right. It's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's where it comes from. So breathe in. Can we just delete that? That's a quick fix, sweetie.
Okay, cool.
So in this case, when your mom's not sure, or your dad's arguing, it's like, well, shit, you got pregnant, all that stuff, and then say that the dad blames the woman for getting pregnant, and then it's like that guilt, that shame of not being good enough, of not like holding space and time, like, hey, I'm worthy to be alive. Basically, that's every moment you're basically saying, I'm worthy. Am I worthy to be alive? And then you always keep proving that you are worthy. And again, that worthiness never fits. So in this case, if you're here, Sudi, you're worthy. So breathe in. Let's just delete that pattern for you and many others.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, like literally overnight, you'll go, damn, I'm worthy. I don't have to worry about, being here, because I am. And this is where your life just like shifts. And you'll start to attract people that are actually worthy of you. Right? That makes sense?
Yeah, I can feel it in my chest right away.
Yes. Yeah. So feel that and just be it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome, sweetie. We'll go to Maeve and then Mumina.
Hi,
Hey, honey. How are you?
I'm well,
Uh,
thanks. Ready for
uh,
your scan?
good. Take a breath in, sweetie. All right. So, geez. So it's a damaging pattern for you. So literally kind of breathe in. So back in the day, when you were younger, it's your family value structure. If you want to talk about contracts and we've cleaned a lot of this stuff out, but I'm just recreating so you understand referencing. So again, when you were born, it's almost there was like a contract or a curse. People around you or the family value structure always it's always like they're in deep competition and they're always trying to destroy each other to make themselves feel better. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Does that make sense for you, hon? How that works?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So breathe in. So when you're born into that, say, frequency, then basically you're the one that um is you're the one that gets brutalized when you've got frequencies that are like that. So people are fighting all around you, so to speak. You're sitting in the corner as a little kid, and you're just like picking up all the distorted daggers that like hit you, right? So unfortunately, so breathe in. So in this case, in relationships, what'll happen is like you'll attract relationships that their family value structure isn't, say, fantastic. And then you would just get their daggers, basically. All their distortions and all their bullshit will be on you. And then this gets entangled between you and the person. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, how do I shift that? I'm ready for a new paradigm.
Yeah. So take a deep breath in. A lot of times too, right? Sometimes we want to, in what you've done to survive, and you've done a fantastic job, by the way, is like, I got to get really like, push harder, grind harder, sacrifice more. So basically you're going against the wind. So in this case, what you're learning through XI is like, wait a second, I change my frequency, not my mental state or not what my physical actions are. If I change my frequency first, so let's slip that in, and then what I need to push against, I'll have help from my higher self. So I'm not alone. That's another thing. You always feel like you're alone, sweetie. because you're always, you always, well, growing up, you probably needed very bad independence. Right?
I
Yeah.
couldn't hear you with the music. Can you say that again?
So you couldn't rely on yourself. I mean, you couldn't rely on other people.
Okay, I always rely on myself. I'm like that. Yeah, it's other
Yeah.
people.
So this is kind of hard if you're trying to have a intimate relationship, because intimate relationships are, it's like relying on one another. But a lot of times, most people, unfortunately, it's like, hey, I need somebody to rely on. And it's just, and it becomes a burden. So so in this situation, what I'm helping you with is like, people can start helping you, okay, and you accept the help and you go, thank you, and that's it. And there's no other obligations or contracts underneath, because for you it's like, okay, if they help me, what do they want from
Exactly. There's always been a loophole or a contract, or oh, they want me to be physically intimate with them when I have no attraction to them, or just
exactly whatever, it doesn't matter. So you're always protecting yourself. So in this case, you're running a frequency of, hey, honor me, honor my identity. So that's just a given frequency that you have. A lot of women run that way, by the way, run that pattern. So this will help a lot of women. So in this case, they become, well, I'll just become celibate. Okay, that's an extreme case of your pattern, right? So in this case, it's like, no, wait a second. I honor myself. I honor who I am. I don't accept daggers from other people. And once you run that pattern, which you will be pretty very quick, what'll happen for you is that you'll get people that want to run with you, not like smash you, basically.
yeah. Thank you. Can I ask one more question in terms of like
Okay.
safety and protection? I'd love to also clear that, because intimacy has been definitely challenging in terms of that regard.
Well, that's what this was all
Okay.
about. So,
Great.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're so welcome. We'll move on. We'll go to Mumina. So again, the key for her pattern, guys, is literally that, you're feeling all insecure and all that, and then you create an isolation of yourself, and then you want a relationship. And that function doesn't really work out well, right? So in this case, again, you feel strong of yourself, you feel confident, you don't need to protect yourself because you're already protected, and then intimacy can work out better for you, and then you don't get used. We'll go to Mumina.
Hi, Moss.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Anything specific you want to work on?
Well, I've
I-
been single for a long time.
yeah,
I feel like me and my sisters haven't met our partners, and I feel like maybe a family curse, or maybe we weren't taught what love is supposed to be like,
sure.
because we didn't have the best,
Yeah,
models for that growing
yeah,
up.
true.
And I feel like I want we need help with that aspect in our lives.
Um,
Also, I'm 40 and I want to have kids, and
mhm.
yeah, I just want you to help me.
Breathe in.
It needs to be
Well, with the
really.
work that you've done with XI, hon, you feel and look a lot younger. Okay, it seems like your hormones, and that's how we help women as well who've kind of lost. It's almost like a second chance for you, Momina.
Yeah,
Take a
you
breath in.
did help me with my thyroid, so that
Yeah.
was amazing.
So all those things, you're getting younger and younger, and now you literally are going, well, wait a second. I didn't live life the way I should have, basically. Whether it's the culture patterns, I see a lot of deep culture, and then a lot of family value structure around that. So breathe in again. Let's get rid of that if we can. You're at a really beautiful place again, and this is a pivotal place where, it's like, well, do I go be a woman? Okay, do I go be a woman, in a proper sense, not like an American woman, or wherever you're from, or this kind of woman. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the optimized woman, that the XI woman, basically. So do I go be that, or do I get pulled back into, say, cultural identities or family identities? So there's a split. But take a breath in. And it's a large split, because if you go this way, then the family might not like you. The family might think that, you're not clean, or you're moving away from the family dynamics. You're not respecting the family paradigm. But if the family's paradigm is distorted, or the culture paradigm is distorted, or the religious paradigm is distorted, you shouldn't follow that anyway, because it's not, it's basically a sin. Okay. And I talk about this because there might be some religious values behind your family. Get it? Some deep religious values that they don't even understand the religion, but they just like practice it blindly, which is sad. So breathe in. Okay. So basically, I'll make it really simple. So you run from cultural patterns. And that cultural pattern dictates that you be this kind of woman, but then deep inside, you and your sisters are basically going, well, that's not being a woman. So there's a split. So in this case, what I'm helping you with is, wait a second, let's take the beauty of the culture, the family, and so on, and turn it into a strong, iconic woman. Obviously, there's going to be a little roughness, a little friction on that, but then once you design yourself in this version, a lot of the women in your family will gravitate like they are. They're starting to wake up in your family. They're starting to gravitate more towards you. Does that make sense to you? Right? Even the older women, because they felt the pressure that you're feeling. This is the generation that'll break it. Okay? And as you do that, I wouldn't worry about if you want kids and all that. You feel, gosh, you're say feminine parts feel like a 30-ish year old, your hormones and all that. So you've got time. But the important thing is identifying who you are, and then you'll gravitate and connect with, say, a partner that will, say, fulfill you rather than drag you back into the old culture. Tyson?
I did a meditation recently, and my higher self said, your partner is here. You're here. You need to meet here.
Yes. Well,
Like,
that's the session.
Your higher self even stronger.
Yeah.
Yes. So then this session came up right after that meditation.
That's beautiful. So again, basically it's like you're here and you got to clean out all the stuff that I talked about. So you elevate here, and then that partner, you can just run with each other. And it becomes really beautiful. I see a really beautiful, cohesive connection. Right?
Thank you so much.
With no regrets. There's regrets in your family about relationships, by the way. So, all right. So we'll go to Selma and then Zahana. Hey, Selma, how are you, hon? Oh, you're muted, sweetie?
Sorry about that. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Anything specific you want to work on? Huh?
Yes, I feel like I really need help with coming back into life. I've been stuck and looping at a really bad place with everything, with every aspect of my life for a long time. So I really need a push.
Yep. Breathe in, sweetie. And again, this is, all these patterns that I'm talking about, much, much more. Guys, breathe in and just notice your lower ribs and then your hips, by the way. You're very beautiful, sweetie, but you just seem like you have a masculine pattern still stuck around you. Okay. So, which is the problem? All right. And again, all these patterns that we're talking about, much more. We've got the XI Code to Love coming up. Actually, it starts on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So you can connect with that. Maybe the team can put a link on that for you. But in your case, what you do is like you're always fighting to be Selma. You're always adventurous. You're always out there to be there. But then when you feel really, really free, you feel like you're alone. So, and then when you're alone, you'll go back to getting into situations that you have to fight for who Selma is again. So this is that looping pattern. It's like you get to the point, it's like, whoa, feels really good, but then I'm all alone. I feel all alone. And then it's like, geez, I gotta go and like get sucked into situations that cause me problems so I can render who I am again. And again, it's get this vicious circle going, and that's what you're feeling. So breathe in. So in this case, can we just help you go, gosh, I know who I am, without having to, say, protect myself? And that's why you have a masculine frequency around you. again, there's different ways of women protecting themselves. Women just carry on this dominant frequency and they start looking masculine. What you do is like you have a masculine frequency around you, and then the feminine version inside you. So in intimate relationships, as you get closer, you go, gosh, I feel more like a man than the guy that I'm dating. Get it? And then you attract men that are like that, and then in a relationship, basically you have to become the man in the relationship, and you want to feel like a woman in the relationship.
I definitely feel like that's been the pattern, and I thought that was connected with not with my father being absent or him dying when I was 12. So I kind of took over a lot of masculine roles, even in the house and stuff. So
You're strong enough. You don't need, say, a father figure. So when you don't need a father figure, say, to protect you anymore. Sometimes when kids again lose their parents, in this case your father, you basically wrap a masculine frequency around you to, say, recreate a father frequency that should be there. Does that make sense to you? So that father frequency just became part of you. So in this case, again, that protective space is always around you from, say, a father frequency. So in this case, you're a woman now. The father could still be there, but not wrapped around you, so to speak. Breathe in again. Also, in intimacy, it almost seems like you pick people that feel like a brother to you, as well. So intimacy just kind of starts going downwards. Does that make sense for you?
right now, I kind of can't quite see that, but I guess it will make sense.
Well, think of it this way: over a short period of time, the wow factor, the intimacy, all that, kind of fades away. So that's because, again, um, uh, if your relationship was long enough, you would feel like a brother sister type feel, and
Yeah.
that's not romantic. So just releasing all that, so the true women value can come out. As a note, be mindful, because other women have helped this. You'll get so many people get attracted to you, even like women will get attracted to you because that filter is removed. So you're strong enough. You might feel insecure. Again, that security filter has been removed. You're strong enough. You'll feel fine. Just don't do something mentally stupid. Okay. So you have to recreate the filter in a different way.
Thank you. I just want to quickly ask, is this gonna ripple to other areas of my life? Because like right now, like my job and finances are like really bad.
Yeah. I mean, you're running a masculine pattern. So in your case, why would you, if you become really successful in your pattern, you'll be more masculine than feminine. Your main objective is to be a strong female in this reality. So it pushes against your systems or the logic. So
Okay.
okay. So as you become a real woman, then finances and everything like that will, say, correlate. So the stronger you get, the more successful you get, the more feminine you get. Right? We teach this in Command Grow Rich. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll go to Zana. Zana.
Yes, Jana. Hi, MOS.
Hey, honey, how are you? Whoa. You're always running from something. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So think of it this way. Take a breath in. So if you're always running from something, you always think that there's something wrong, even if there's not. People that run your patterns on is where if everything is going perfect, you basically get scared and go, what's going on? What's wrong? There has to be something going wrong all the time. So you're always basically suspicious.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're in a relationship, and this is where, the slightest, say, your partner says something and it's just a little off, and then you magnify it. And basically they go, it was just this. And you're going, no, it's you create this, you magnify everything for you. Did that make sense?
Yes, but I believe it's based on past experiences.
Sure. I can totally agree with that. And not just your past experiences, your mom's past experiences.
Interesting. Yes, I had this conversation with my mom the other day, and she said that she always feels guilt.
Yep.
She doesn't know from where does it come.
Yeah. Someone is saying on the comment, it's like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Basically, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So take a breath in. So it's not relationship patterns, honey, but it destroys relationship patterns, because the closer you get to falling in love, or say you fall in love, all you'll pick up all their insecurities, and then it just makes you question everything, the smallest detail. And this is where you pick on yourself as well. You're not pretty enough, you're not whatever enough, you don't have, you're too overweight, you're too underweight. Again, every little detail just gets magnified for you, right? So take a breath in. Did that make sense, by the way?
Yeah, I don't think that I've ever been in love. I've been thinking about this. I don't think I've ever experienced this mutual romantic in love relationship.
Yep. Yeah, that's my point, because you can't fall in love because you become so myopic that you say as soon as you fall in love, you get so scared because everything just magnifies so strongly that you'll pull away from love. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's been about 4 or 5 times. Breathe in. There's been about 4 or 5 times that you could have fallen in love, but you're wrong. You can't go to that next layer, basically. You almost get there, you get too scared, because if you do fall in love, then all your insecurities will come through. And all those insecurities will literally start to destroy you. That's why. So in this case, breathe in. It's actually a shift in, say, realities, on how you see realities. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and this is for other people as well. Okay. All right. You're basically, you're looking at life, okay? But what you do, so you're looking at an object, and then you're looking at that object under a magnifying glass. That's your life. And when you look at life through a magnifying glass, you'll see every little detail, every imperfection, those imperfections that are very tiny become huge. So again, so what I'm doing with you and others as well, breathe in, sweetie. What I'm doing with you is literally pulling you away so you get to see things from a distance. Okay. What you'll experience is like, whoa, you'll actually get to see the bigger picture of what's happening versus just a close-up shot of it. Because you're basically, reality's here, you're stuck to it, and you can't see too far. So what I'm doing is giving you distance. So you actually will start to become an observer of your life. And Zana, this is where you actually go, oh, things aren't that extreme for me, because everything is just like high level extreme for you. So breathe in again. So in this case, you get to see things ahead of time. You get to fix them, and you'll have more, say, confidence in yourself. You'll have more completeness in yourself. You'll have more connection of who you are. And this is where, again, you see things from a distance, which minimizes the distortion and expands your, say, abilities and your possibilities. Does that make sense on how that works?
Yes, you mentioned I'm going to fix them. I mean,
like I'm gonna see things from distance and I'm going to fix them.
Yeah, you will. You just will. It's not a mental state. Again, you're stuck on doing things at a
I
mental
am,
level.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Oh,
because it's like you got to fix things. Yeah. By tomorrow, you wake up. I would suggest taking naps with you. You wake up and you reset, and it's basically a space-time function for you. You might not understand what that is. It's not mental. It's just how you render yourself in space and time. Okay, you literally will change, and you go, "Oh, I see things differently now." It'll just like happen for you.
how do I
And
keep it then?
yeah, and then this is where you mentally have to do the right things now that you have your chance. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
We'll move on. We'll go to Kaylin.
Italian. Hi.
Kaylin. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Anything specific you want to work on? Whoa. Breathe in.
Maybe nothing.
Just or I can scan you, Kylan.
Yeah, maybe just scan me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you run from you run from a pattern of female dominance in your life?
Yeah.
So basically
Yeah.
that is, you might have had a mother that might overprotected you. I just seem but what I see is that you seem like you might have had a mother that doesn't trust men or doesn't trust her husband, basically, your father.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that distrust is in you.
Mm.
So in that case, Colin, breathe in. This is where people might not trust you, although you're very trustworthy. This is where I say a woman might go, oh, you might think that you're cheating on them, or they might not connect with you because it's like, well, he doesn't feel trustworthy. Basically, it's a trustworthy issue, and it's
Okay.
like, I'm not going to go with that guy because, well, he's going to use and abuse me. Does that make sense? How that works?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The other aspect, and just think about it, the other aspect
Mm-hmm.
for you is that, if there's a female dominance in you, so you are trying to create your own identity of who you are. But if so, you would attract women that just push on you.
Yeah.
Get it? Okay. And then you lose your identity of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll blame you and not trust you.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Get it? Okay. So
Yeah,
breathe in. Yeah, and this is where you're unsure of who you are even now. You're just kind of unsure who Kaylin is. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
Italian.
Kylan. And again, that's all from that one pattern. So let's take a breath in, buddy. Let's create a little distance for you, because when I see females around you, they literally encroach your space and then dominate you. They literally become very oppressive over time for you. That could have been your mom.
Yeah.
Whether she was a nice mom or a mean mom, it doesn't matter. It's just this oppressive feeling of, and then you're a little kid and you're just going, I feel this weight of this other person on me. So relationships in your case, you feel the weight of the other person on you, especially especially as you get closer and closer to love. Basically, you'll feel the weight, and this is where you basically have to escape.
Yeah. I even have scoliosis and
Okay,
yeah.
So we can work on that. That's again, when I see people with scoliosis, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but this is where the other person's presence is so strong. Imagine if I was, if somebody was sitting next to you, like really close, over time, you literally will create, say, a space for them, right? And this is
keep leaning over.
Yep. So breathe in. Unfortunately, you always connect with women that are really needy as well, and then they become dominant for you. So so in this case, One, creating a space around you to help you understand who you are, so you have a solid identity, right? And what I would suggest for you, or people like you, is take a look at icons, movie stars or whoever that you wanna be like. See their, um, see what you say resonate with them. See what inspires you in
Hmm.
them. You don't want their whole identity, but what it literally inspires you about them, and just really feel that it's like, oh, it's this little piece, and then you want to copy that version uh,
Yeah.
of their frequencies, and this is where you
Hmm.
have an identity of your own. So it's
Okay.
literally
Yeah.
bringing an identity of your own. You might get a little mean, by the way. You might push people
Hmm.
off. It's okay, because you're just
Okay.
creating space for yourself. All right, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll go to Marina. Hi, Marina.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, good. And you?
I'm doing really well. Anything specific you want to work on, huh?
Yeah, let's go with love and relationships.
Yeah, sure. So in relationships, you basically lose your identity. So say for example, you get married, and then Marina just gets put on the side, and then you live your partner's life. Does that make sense for you?
Hmm.
Okay. So this is always, have you been married twice, or two relationships? From what I'm saying?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Longer relationships.
two long relationships. Yeah. So in those relationships, if you look back, right, basically, as soon as you get into a relationship, or that you're a couple, that kind of deal, your life gets put aside, and then you just do whatever the person wants you to do. And then this version is always like waiting and waiting and waiting. It's like, when is it my turn to feel me? Is that clear for you?
Hmm.
Okay. So, all right. So breathe in. And then and it's not just about relationships. Overall, you're always like, well, I'll wait till this happens so I can live. So basically that's your pattern. Whether it's in relationships, whether it's the economy, whether it's you're always waiting to live. Breathe. So this comes in where, um, when close your eyes, you and anybody else that wants to do this, close your eyes, take a breath in. So this comes, when you're a 2, 3, 4-year-old child, and you want to like express yourself. You want to feel what it is to be a child, but then your parents just shut you down every time you express yourself. Every time you are you get shut down. Notice how that feels for you. And then you go, well, maybe when I get a little older, I'll be myself. I can go back and be myself. And then that pattern sticks with you. And it's always like, well, when I get a little older, when this happens, I can express myself. Maybe when I get married, then I can express myself. But again, if that pattern is always waiting, you'll never be able to express yourself. So let's stop waiting for time. Can I just like initiate you in time? You're always waiting, basically, for life to happen to you. So close your eyes, take a breath in, and again, others as well. Imagine that there's a train. You're at the train station, okay? And this is you specifically. It's like you start to get onto the train of time, but then you go, no, the next train is going to be a better train for me. So you always change your destination. And then the next train comes, it's like, oh, well, I'll wait till the next train so I can enjoy my life. So, Marina, breathe in. This train is coming. It's the right train for you. You don't have to wait anymore. Can you experience yourself getting on that train? and starting to live your life.
Yes.
Perfect. And you sit down and so is it a comfortable train? Like it just literally goes, wow, this is really nice inside. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. So this is, you're going to be really, really present. You might not like what you see or what you've created thus far. So you're going to clean up a lot of things, which is nice. But then you'll start living the bar. You'll have emotions that are in time. Your emotions might be a little extreme at times. You know, you'll laugh really extreme. You'll cry really extreme because again, you're enjoying what say in time is about. This is where also, you know, you really haven't really felt the vibrancy of life because you always been waiting. Other people might laugh around you and you always feel left out. Those kind of patterns, you'll actually be one of those individuals that are in the moment and you'll just feel good about who you are with or without people. And as you enjoy the space, and I can see the transformation, you're actually enjoying your space now. You're actually enjoying being here. I don't know if that makes sense for you, but I can just see a radical shift for you. It's like, gosh, it actually feels good being me. You'll look in the mirror and you'll go, oh, wow, I actually can see myself for the first time. Other people will be able to see you and they'll actually compliment you uh, on your beauty, you know, your kindness, whatever that you're doing. It's like, wow, people will actually start to see you. You're not like a wallflower. People will start to listen to you. All those things will like change and adapt. So imagine that individual, so of who you are really are expressing itself. And as you do, other people will look at you, and this is where intimacy and relationships can actually have value for you. Right? Does that make sense for you, Sudi?
Yes. Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, guys. Very good group of individual. Breathe in. The biggest key is we're always trying to change things outside of ourselves, right? If this person changes, you know, or, you know, you change the person, you change the situation, you move to another city, you do whatever, right? But the deal is that nobody really changes themselves. That's the problem. So in XI, we change the core version of who we are, the core identity of who you are. And as you change that core identity of who you are, again, not through mindset, but the basic architecture of who you are, this is where your whole life, say, changes. And a lot of people in relationship, you know, they want a relationship to fix them. They want a job to fix them. You know, they want money to fix them. It never works. And this is where, all the, like the Epstein files, right? High level individuals, right? And then they go do some stupid shit, right? It's like, why would somebody at that high level individual, you know, do stupid, like Deepak Chopra, right? Amazing man, great concepts, but then he goes does stupid shit, right? So I'm basically telling you all these things, whether it's you or whether it's the people on the Epstein files, they're just magnified because they're famous or they're wealthy or whatever. Okay, they all run the same problem situation as you, just at different levels, right? You go do stupid shit basically to define who you are, and you know, since you're not defining who you are, you'll do more and more and more stupid stuff, right? And this is where a lot of those individuals, they didn't find who they are in their intelligence, their success, their connections, their proximity to whatever, their influence. And then they just go, you know, they do stupider and stupider and stupider things. It's not, again, it's not that they're bad people, but just like you, they couldn't find out and they'll go to any extreme to define who they are. Fortunately, those individuals literally have to say sold their presence, so they need to abuse other people, unfortunately, to take that back. You don't need to do that. And that's why I would highly recommend the XI Code to Love starting on Monday. It's really fantastic. It's not about, it is about finding intimate relationships, but a whole different process. It's about creating a solid architecture structure of who you are first, where you love yourself complete. Right? You love that identity complete, and then that circle. Just imagine being that completeness, and you just radiating that out. Right? how would your intimacy change? Like, how would your love life change? Like, how would the world around you, your children, you know, or future kids would change, right? So, all right, guys. I'll leave you with that. And notice what you notice. Please subscribe to this channel, guys. Comment in on your social media on how, say, fantastic the fantastic transformations that you've had. I saw other people get involved. As other people get involved, we make a stronger and bigger community. All right. Again, notice what you notice. Notice the detail of what you're noticing. All right. Peace.